Hi, I am N. Jagadish, Associate Professor in CSC Department. Now, in this session, we discuss about C++ introduction, data types, and declaration of variables. Come to the first one, that is C++ introduction. Here we discuss about what actually C++ is and how it was developed. What is the background of C++? See, C++ is an object-oriented programming language. In the previous sessions, we discussed about what actually object-oriented programming language means and what is the difference between procedure-oriented programming language and object-oriented programming language. Now, here we are in object-oriented programming language, the two C++. C++ was developed by John Stroustrup at AT&T Bell Laboratories, New Jersey, USA, in the early 1980s. Basically, C++ is nothing but extension of C. And how the C++ was formed, that indicates whatever the features that are there in C is also there in C++. And apart from these C features, this is Stroustrup added one more feature from Simula 67, and that feature is nothing but class construct. What are the features, what are the things that are there in C is also there, and to those C elements or to those C features, this Stroustrup added a new construct named as class, which was there in Simula 67 to C language. So initially, that's why initially this C++ was named with C with classes. Later, in 1983, the name is changed to C++. See, observe clearly, he added the class construct to C. So that's why in the earlier days, he named to a new language as C with classes. Later, in 1983, he renamed that to a new language that is nothing but C++. So C++ that indicates he took plus operator from C language, which indicates increments. It increments the value 1. What the thing here is, C++ is nothing but increment version of C. To indicate that the C++ is the increment version of C, he placed plus operator after C, which results as C++. Now, this C++ is nothing but superset of C. That indicates whatever the operations that you are performing in C language, you can also perform by means of C++. Then C is subset of C++, vice versa. C is subset of C++. So this is nothing much introduction or the history of C++. Observe clearly here, the C language programming or C programs are like this, a name program.c, which indicates that file name .c. The extension is nothing but .c. Now in C++, if you want to provide a name to a file, then the extension is nothing but .cpp. CPP that indicates plus. So in C++, if you want to provide a name to a file, if you want to save a name to a file, then you can use file name extension as .cpp. So this is nothing but the difference between C and C++ file extensions. Now, come to the next one. It is important, that is nothing but structure of C++ programming. Basically, in every programming language, there is one particular structure. Based on that structure, we have to develop, we have to write the programs. So every programming language has their own programming structures. Like C has one unique program structure. Likewise, C++ also. C++ also one particular program structure, and that program structure is nothing but this one. See, at the topmost we have include files. At the topmost we have include files. Then after the include files, we have class declaration. Then we have member functions definition, and at last main function program. Observe clearly here, At the top, we have the include files. Include file that indicates we simply specify the header files like #include in C, stdio.h, in C++, IO string, IO manip, #include IO string, #include IO manip, #include conio, #include string, #include math. Likewise, you can specify, you can place the include files at this section. Then come to the next one, class declaration. So after specifying the header files, then you declare the class or you define the class at this part. At this part. So if you want to specify or if you want to use the class in your program, you can specify the class declaration or class definition at this part. Then apart from this, after declaring or defining a class, then you can define member function. So for example, in your class, if there is only one member function, you can define one member function here after the class. If your class consists of 3 to 4 member functions, then you can define those member functions after the class declaration. So to define the member functions, then you can use this particular space. So after the class declaration or definitions, the next stage is nothing much. You can define member functions which are there in the class. Then at last, come to the main program. So as usual, in C++ also, there is a unique function which is named as main function. So C++ program starts the execution from main function onwards. So when we just go to specify the execution of the program, the execution starts from the main function from here onwards. So here the main function is placed at bottom. So it executes bottom to top. This is the way how the C++ program execution done. We specified the way of a procedure or the way of execution procedure in C and C++. In C, it is top to bottom, whereas in C++, it is bottom to top. Bottom to top means we place the main function at the bottom of the program. Here in C++ also, first the main function will execute, which is placed at bottom side of the program. Then it moves towards to the top side. That's why we can specify the execution procedure is bottom up approach. This is nothing much the structure of a C++ program. Then have a look at the example. Here, specify one example according to the structure of a C program. In this example, we are not using any class declarations or definitions. The first we specify #include IO string. #include IO string, it is a header file. Header file IO string, input output string. Then using namespace std. Using namespace, here we are using a namespace. Here we are using a namespace with one particular object that is nothing but std, through which we can access the objects which are defined in IO string. So using namespace std. Then int main. Main is a function which will execute first in the C++ program. Here in this program, it executes first. This main function will return integer value. That's why we specify the return type as int. Then open brace. Then open brace, which specifies the beginning of the main function. Then std scope cout. Cout is there in IO string. So we are accessing that by means of std. So std scope cout. This is nothing but insertion operator hello class /n. Whatever the information or message that we specified in inverted commas, that message or information will be displayed on the output screen or on the monitor. Now come to the next one, return 0. So here after executing the cout statement, then it executes return 0. It returns the program execution is successfully completed. Then close brace, the main function completes. This is nothing but simply one example program which specifies how the program will execute in C++. Then come to the next part, that is nothing but comments. Comments you already know. Comments are nothing but the just for readable purpose, which will not store in memory and which will never execute. It is basically and simply for readable purpose. In C, we already know there are a single line and multi-line comments. like this. Now in C++ we discussed about the same thing. Here also we have a single line comments and multi-line comments. Single line comment that indicates we just go to use a comment symbol as double slash. It terminates at the end of the line. So to specify to a multiplines, you can use a single multi-line comments or single line comments like this for 3 lines. Or else, if you want to use multi-line comments or block comments, then you can use slash star at the beginning and at last star slash. In between all these lines, here we specify simply as a 2 lines, 2 statements. If you want to specify as a block of 5 lines or 10 lines, you can. In between of all these statements, in between of these comment symbols, all these statements will be treated as comments. These comments will never execute. These comments will never store in the memory. So that is nothing but comments. Now we'll discuss about the data types. Data type that indicates what type of data that the variable is holding is specified by means of data type. What you studied in C is also there in C++. So here I just go to specify the different data types and ranges and precision. Observe clearly. Here start with the first one, short int or simply a short. It is a one data type, integral data type. The memory used for this data type is nothing but 2 bytes. 2 bytes, and the range here is nothing but minus 327672 plus 32767. This is the range that indicates in between these values only that short int is able to store. More than these values, the short int is not able to store. For example, if you give 33,000 in negative or in positive values, it is not capable to store. That is the range of short int. Then come to the next int. For int data type, it requires 4 bytes of memory. And the range of the int is nothing but minus 2, 147, 483, 647, 2 plus 2, 147, 483, 647. This is the range of int. You can store up to these values. And here precision is not applicable. We are not using any decimal values. Similarly, come to the next data type, long or long int. It is also using 4 bytes of memory. And the range is also the same. Minus 2, 147, 483, 647, 2, 147, 483, 647. And here also precision is not applicable. Then come to the next decimal points data types. Real data types, that is nothing but floats. Float requires 4 bytes of memory. And the size it is going to specify is 10 power minus 38 to 10 power plus 38. This is the range of values that the float can hold. And after decimal points, the precision is up to 7 digits. When you go for the double data type, for double data type, the memory is nothing but 8 bytes of memory it is using. Then the range of values, the size and range of values for the double data type is 10 power minus 308 to 10 power plus 308. This is the range of values. And the precision is up to 15 digits. The precision is up to 15 digits. So this is about data type short, int, long, float, and double. Then come to the next one, long double. So here we just go to specify one more thing, long double. The bytes of memory that it is using is 10 bytes. And the range, the value of range is nothing but 10 power minus 4932 to 10 power plus 4932. Up to these values, the long double will store. And the precision is up to 19 digits. Then come to the next one, char. So here, char data type. So the char data type will require 1 byte of memory. So all ASCII characters will be stored, and there is not specifying any precision. So it is not applicable. Precision is not applicable to the characters. So it requires only 1 byte of memory, and all ASCII characters will be stored. Come to the next one, that is nothing but the bool. Bool requires 1 byte of memory. Bool requires 1 byte of memory, and the values are nothing but true and false. It stores either true or false. So this is nothing much about the data type. For bool also there is no precision concept. So this is nothing but the data types which specify what type of data that the variable will hold and up to what extent it is capable to hold the values. Based on the range, it can store up to that particular range only. And come to the next one, declaration of variable. Now, first of all, what is mean by the variable? Variable is nothing much one data name which is used to store a data value. So if you want to store any value, then you can store a value in the variable. How can you store your ornaments or important documents in your secret almirah? Similarly, here also you can store a value in the variable. Now, when you just go to store a value in the variable, then the next step is nothing but how to use the variable, how to declare the variable in the programming language. So in C++, you can declare the variable anywhere in the program. It is not like that the variable will be declared at only one particular section. Whereas in C, you must declare the variable at the topmost of the program. After the main and open brace, you have to declare the variable in that particular section only. You cannot allow to declare a variable anywhere in the program. But in C++, you can declare the variable anywhere in the program. Now look at this, how we are going to use means. Now here I specified one statement, cout, enter the number. So after specifying a statement in between a program, I am declaring a variable int a. Then std scope cin a. Then I am just going to specify the a variable and then providing a value to the a variable, which indicates that I can declare a variable anywhere, but before using the variable, I must declare the variable. Before using the variable, I must declare the variable. And also look at this here also. In loops also, I can declare like int I is equal to 0, I less than or equal to n, I plus plus. So here I is nothing much loop control variable. So this is the way how we just go to declare the variable. Now take one more example. Look at this here. I am declaring the variable in different ways. So in block A, I am declaring the variable. When I just go to print the value of x, it prints the x value as 5. And again here also I just go to print the x value. Again it prints x value as 5. Then again I just go to specify x is equal to 6. Means I am assigning a new value 6 to x. And this is applicable to this block only. When I go to print the value of x, in this place, it prints the x value as 6. Then next, again I just go to print the value. Now this is outside of the block. Now this x variable value will be applicable here. So the value of fourth value of x is nothing much 5. So likewise, you can declare and assign the value to a variable anywhere in the program, but the usage is different. In which you are going to specify, you just go to specify properly. That is nothing but a declaration of variable and usage of variable. Thank you.